Today I wanted to show you how to play and cheat at chess. These cheating strategies would only help you in the real world because computer programs do not allow cheating moves. So if you're playing with like a bored family member and you wanna never play chess again, cheating strategies are a very good way for them to never want to play with you. But before we get into that, let's show you how you play regular chess. This is your standard chessboard. Here we have the little peons, the bishops, the knight, and the castle. And the king. Most of the pieces are very easy to set up. You start, the peons go in the front row, and then you make your way inward first, then follows the rook, then the knight, then the bishop, and then the king and queen. If you're playing as the black pieces, the queen will always be in the color that matches her wood color, and the king will be in the opposite side. That's how you can avoid getting your little pieces mixed up. So then the next thing to know is how each of the little pieces move. Peons move one step at a time, but at the beginning of the game they get to do a double step. This brings me to one of the standard moves you can do in chess. Let's say you have a little peon all the way up to here, and then this piece does its double step. You can then go with the peon here, and then it's dead. The reason why is because technically the double step was designed to speed up the time that it took to play chess. It still follows the normal rules, but in the old days it would just be one, and then people would get impatient because it would take forever before anything happened. So then, let's redo that same move, but in normal speed. Now you're here, and then this peon will be here, and then you can eat him. See? That's why when this peon gets a double step, you can then eat it like this, because this is in fact what would have happened under the old rules of chess. Aside from being frontline infantry, the peons have the unique ability of if they make it all the way to the end, they can become any piece that was taken. Most people just use a peon to rescue the queen, but if your queen happens to be safe, you can rescue an important piece like the horse. The horse and queen combination is usually the best pieces in order to do checkmate, which is the overall point of the chess matches. I have always traditionally played with the black pieces. I don't like to make the first move as far as anything is concerned. Okay, so now you're familiar with how to use the peons. The next piece in the chessboard that's important is the rook. The rook can only move forward and upwards. It cannot do horizontal moves. Another unique ability of the rook is that, let's say that we move this out of the way, you can then rescue the king by castling it. See? Now he's safe and protected. But you can only castle the king if the king hasn't moved yet. If the king is forced to move because he's in check, he loses the ability to do the castle. And the next pieces we're mentioning is the bishop. the bishops, each of them moves horizontally. See? And each bishop has its own, you get a black piece bishop and a white piece bishop. They can only move horizontally within their assigned color. And then here's the queen. She has the ability to move like a rook and like a bishop. She has both their combined powers. And then last but certainly not least is the most important piece in the chessboard, the horse. The horse can jump over other pieces and it moves in an L pattern. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 4. It can go either this way or that way, or like this, or back home. Because of the weird way that the horses move, it's very easy to lose track of them. So most of the good checkmates are done with the horse and queen combination. The queen checks the king, and then the horse protects the queen. The king can never eat a piece if it causes a checkmate. So in this situation, the king loses to the queen protected by the knight, and then you automatically win the game. And then last but certainly not least is the king. He's the whole purpose of the chess game. As soon as he gets captured, the king loses. The king can only move one step at a time, and it must always remain at a safe distance from the other king with one piece in between. Because if a king ever gets close to each other, they will technically be checking each other. So it's a move that would never happen. So there you see how the regular chess game, the regular rules of chess and whatnot. Now we finally moved on to cheating strategies. A very useful little early cheating strategy is, let's say that the match started going on, etc. And then let's say that we move the queen here, and then the queen happens to get inside your defenses in a hypothetical situation. And then the king is forced to move out of the way. And then the queen retreats, and then you put the king back to where it originally was positioned. So then the game progresses and it resumes, and then eventually, when the opponent forgets, you can castle your king. Because don't forget, one of the rules is the king happens to move once, he's not allowed to castle. But you can cheat by counting on your opponent's lack of memory, because your opponent is going to be so focused on his next move that he probably won't remember that you already moved your king if you put him back in his original position, even though you use him in a dodge maneuver. Another very useful way of cheating is that you move your king forward and then ever so slightly move the little peons. And then you tend to move 2 pieces instead of 1 in your turn. The king is very useful for protecting the peons, and then eventually you can use him to save an important piece like the queen. Another useful way to cheat is with the horses. You can actually extend the range that the horses jump. See? Because of his very weird way of moving around, you can have him move only one forward step, or extend the range of his L, and even move him weirdly around. You can use that a lot in order to cheat in chess. And the last, but certainly not the least, the most important cheating strategy in chess. Here we have the humble bishop. You only get a bishop of each color. See? This bishop will always be cursed to walk in the white pieces and this one in the black pieces. But eventually when your opponent seems a little bit distracted, if you happen to have only one bishop and you see a piece that you really want to eat, you can just ever so slightly move in there, and now the white king is in check. So see, by working with your opponent's poor visual memory, you can actually get the bishop to change color, and you can use him more effectively like that. Now, the final strategy for cheating, and the one thing that will make all of this little cheating strategy work, is a distraction. Folks tend to get riled up very easily, so if you know a topic that your opponent feels very strongly about, just casually bring it up like you're whining about it. And then eventually you will start seeing the furrow of the eyebrows of your opponent as he starts gnawing on that old bone. And then, once he gets very distracted, he'll be so focused on his inner demons that he won't notice that your little bishops are changing positions. I hope you find these little cheating strategies useful for when you're playing chess in the real world and you want to annoy your opponent. Bye bye, and God bless.